Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Cramping My Style. Am I the a-hole for letting my pregnant daughter move in with me even though my girlfriend doesn't want her to? I, 40 male, have an 18-year-old daughter with my ex-wife. Call her Maddie. We divorced when she was 7, and I have her 3 weekends a month. Her mom moved to a suburb almost an hour outside the city to be closer to her family and for a better school. My work was in the city, and after a while, Maddie got sick of all the driving and asked if we could go to a different schedule. We talked most days on the phone, and I have been very involved in her life. She's a great student, graduated with over a 4.0, has a lot of friends, and a, what I thought, very nice boyfriend. She has no idea what she wants to do with her life and had already decided to defend her scholarship a year to take classes at the community college and work. I also have a girlfriend, Vera, 37, and she gets along with Maddie great. We've been together about 2 years and she just moved into my house a few months ago and it's been great. I didn't really date much the past few years between Maddie and work, so it's nice having someone always around. Vera doesn't want kids of her own and I don't want any more, so it's been great. So, for all that, Maddie is pregnant and her mom has kicked her out. Her boyfriend has another year left of nursing school and lives in a college apartment with roommates. She is of course staying here for now and found out late. She's due in January. She and her boyfriend went over the options and decided to keep the baby. She told me very meekly and asked if she could stay. I told her of course. She knows this is disappointing, but she'll never stop being my baby, and if this is what's going to happen, I'm here to support her within reason. As in, I'm fine babysitting if she has work or class, and she will keep working and going to school, but I'm not babysitting for her to party or hang out with friends. If the boyfriend bails, which I was as kind as I could be, but told her it happens even with the nicest boys, she would need to file child support, and I would give her grace before and after birth, but when she's recovered, she will go back to doing chores on top of baby chores. I told her and the boyfriend to sleep on it, and they did, and came back with actual thoughtful responses, and even a budget goal that I found impressive. So, the tiny bedroom next to Maddie's, that is currently home to a treadmill I've never used, is going to be a nursery. Of course, I kept Vera in the loop during all of this, and she seemed really understanding until I told her the plan. She got upset and said if she wanted to raise a baby, she'd have one of her own. She said she didn't sign up for this and is not okay with it. She demanded I rescind the offer, that Maddie is 18 and needs to figure it out on her own if she wants to keep the baby. I told her I wouldn't do that. She'll always be my daughter and needs me.
I remember when you used to take me swimming here.
Yeah, me too.
That was a long time ago.
No, it was yesterday.
She threatened to move out if I didn't tell Maddie to go out. Then got mad when I told her I understood. Now she's avoiding the both of us, but still staying here, or being snippy. I don't know what she expects me to do, but it's making the entire house anxious. Well, OP, in my opinion, you're not the a-hole, and even at 18, your daughter is your responsibility. You're stepping up now, and that defines the kind of parent that you are, an integral one, unlike your ex. And yes, as I said, she is 18. She's scared, and she's preparing to raise a child. Abandoning her would cause damage that no relationship is worth. I feel exactly the same way as you, OP. My children will always come first. Yeah, Vera may be technically correct that she never signed up for this, but you didn't sign up for it either. Parenthood doesn't expire at 18. And because she's uncomfortable with it, she demands that you kick her out. Now, when you say, I understand if you don't like it, and of course, you can leave, she doesn't. So not only did Vera give you a crappy ultimatum that blew up in her face, she also proved she has no follow-through. She already drew a line in the sand. Now she needs to move out, because your daughter's place in your home is non-negotiable. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Kaylee Dang 87 says 18 is barely an adult, and actual adults who think 18 is a proper age to be 100% on your own are a problem. Good job still being willing to be a parent to your child when she needs you, not the a-hole. Mustang 1967 says, time to tell your girlfriend she can do what's best for her, but your daughter will probably be here for 3 to 4 years. Let her know you want her to stay, but your life will change. And Dopey responds, that's what I told her. She's not happy about it and being rude to me. Trying to be cheeky says, no a-holes here. I get why a child-free woman would break up and move out, and I get why you are being a good dad and helping your daughter. The only villain is if you kick out your daughter or if your girlfriend acts meanly. And Response Glad says, not the a-hole, but I get why Vera is upset. A baby is going to change everything about living together, and yep, Vera is right. As an 18-year-old mom, Maddie certainly will need a lot of parenting support. This is a non-trivial ask of Vera. As your live-in girlfriend, she will be playing a stepmom, step-grandma role now, like it or not. And it's only been 3 months living together? Yeah, I would be upset too. However, Vera is dating you, a parent, and apparently a supportive one. You don't get to do that and then not expect the person to be a supportive parent their kid can rely on. Ultimately, Vera needs to respect that your priority is your kid, as it should be, as is probably one thing she respects about you, and that does mean trade-offs for Vera. You guys need to find some empathy for each other. Then you need to have a plan. One option, Vera moves back out. Sucks, but we'll respect her boundaries here. You can support her with this. Alternatively, Vera agrees to stay with Maddie and baby and make do. If you navigate this path, discuss a detailed plan with Maddie. How long does she get support? What all support is included? Precisely, specifically. What happens if she needs more than that? How will you help her be successful? And OKYak7874 says, I think your girlfriend doesn't want to have grandma duties or any responsibility related to the baby. I understand her point of view. If she didn't have kids, it's because she's not interested in the responsibility. And also, she probably got in a relationship with you because you don't have young kids, and now your daughter is pregnant and moving with you. It's a lot to take in. Additional information from OP's comments. First, this has always been Maddie's home. She didn't move back in. The only change is that her boyfriend asked if he could stay once the baby is born so he could help. I agreed, because why wouldn't I want him to be present for his own child? He graduates nursing school in May, likely starts work in June or July, and I told him straight up, your number one priority is finishing school. Obviously, the baby is important, but graduating and getting a stable job is what will secure the baby's future. Right now, both he and Maddie already work part-time, and they even sat down and made a budget. They don't have much, but they're trying. Daycare is the plan once she gets back in school, though she may need to take a semester off. My goal is that they stay here until she graduates, so they can save for a proper starter home instead of scraping by in a bad apartment. I've also spoken with his parents. They live over an hour away, are not well off, but are very supportive. They're immigrants with green cards, and like me, they're disappointed but committed to standing by their kid and grandkid. Now, about Vera. Before I even spoke to the kids, she and I had multiple in-depth conversations about what might happen. I made it clear that all three of them moving in was possible. She was supportive then. Once it became the plan, she flipped, gave me an ultimatum to kick my daughter out because she's an adult and has been cold and snippy ever since. I told her no. For additional context, Vera pays the water and electric, but my house is paid off. I cover everything else. She moved in after her roommate got married and she couldn't afford rent. We'd been together almost 2 years and I was even considering proposing, but her behavior now has me rethinking things. I've also helped her plenty. She has debt, no savings, and will eventually have to care for her mom who's already showing memory issues. I never threw that in her face. It's hard to accept she can't show the same grace to my daughter. What makes it harder is that she and Maddie actually got along great before this. Vera even took her prom dress shopping, which Maddie called one of the best days ever. Now Maddie feels guilty like she ruined my relationship, which kills me. Also, a big concern people raise is babysitting. Vera will not be expected to. If all three of us are busy, we'll hire help. The only time I'd ever ask her is in a true emergency. Daycare plus the parents will handle everything else. As for Maddie, she was on birth control but missed the signs. Her mother wanted her to give the baby up for a close adoption. She refused. Housing in my city runs $2,500 for a 2-bedroom, so telling her to just figure it out at 18 isn't realistic. At the end of the day, this isn't a random baby. It's my grandchild, and my daughter will always have a place here. Alright, the community agrees OP is not the a-hole for stepping up for his daughter, although many of them also understand Vera's position, which is fair of course. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. My last post got a little overwhelming. I'm still glad I did it. Reading the comments, I just got to the point I was like, what am I doing? I asked Vera to talk. She started. She actually did kind of apologize. Said she was just stressed because she's expected Maddie to either keep the same custody schedule or maybe a bit more, but not full time and certainly not with a baby. And then she didn't think I'd actually let her live here with the baby. She said she'd be able to work with a compromise of Maddie and the boyfriend, let's call him Doug, getting their own place when he started working full time, and they could promise to never ask her for help. I guess she thought as long as she has an end in sight, she would be able to handle it. I told her I understood, but her behavior was out of line and I can't see us working out after this. She was upset and seemed shocked and got pretty mad. I told her she was welcome to stay in the basement, finished, walk out with a kitchenette for a month while she found a new place, and I'd pay her back for the bill she'd paid, $790, so I rounded up to $1,000. She wasn't happy at any of this and was freaking out, so I called and asked Maddie if she could stay with Doug for the night. I offered to give Vera some space and she told me to F off. I was working from home that day, so I was around, but not in her way all the while she moved her things downstairs. She had work that night and let me know the next morning she'd be moving to her friends. I offered help, but again, she said no and left her key on the counter. I changed the security code but told her if she left anything there just to let me know and I'd let her in to come and get it. So I thought there'd be no drama. I was actually obviously sad but felt better about the whole thing. We can't prove anything, but Maddie's carnivore plants started rapidly dying the last few days and she said a bunch of her concentrated fertilizer was gone. We all know not to touch them or water them, as in she had me install rain barrels because they can't have tap water. She's devastated and hasn't said it directly, but I think we both think Vera did something to them. I've asked her if she wants me to do anything about it, and she said no. And at one point, Vera sent her a nasty text saying she's the reason I'm alone and she hopes she's happy. I told her to block her. I don't know if she feels guilty or like she deserves it. She doesn't even want me to replace them and said she'll just try to salvage some of them. So if anyone knows of good sites in the US to buy pictures or pings, hit me up. So, not great. I'm gonna stay single for a while, obviously, but there's some good news. I have a female friend who Maddie has known forever and has kids, and she took her out to lunch. My issue was that Maddie thought she could power through and take courses in the spring with a newborn. She wouldn't listen to me and told me she'd make it work. A friend was able to convince her that one semester wasn't going to ruin her life, so that is a positive. And the boyfriend, Doug, I talked with his parents. They are like me, not thrilled, but going to be supportive and excited for a grandbaby. They live over an hour away though, but told them I had a spare room they could use when they visit. And Doug, who does work part-time while he's in school, I told him yes, work this semester, but next semester your #1 job is to finish your degree no matter what. I am willing to support them both financially and with the baby more than I normally would. Next semester, because I know the best way to ensure my grandbaby has a good life is making sure their dad has his degree and a good job. He seemed to understand and was thankful. Maybe he's not as much of a ding-dong as I thought he was, lol. Additional information from OP's comments. When Vera moved in, the basement was the only condition she asked for, that it stay baby-free. I agreed and never offered it to Maddie or Doug. That was the one request I granted before she blew everything up. For those saying I wasn't involved in Maddie's life, the 3 weekends a month schedule was only because her mom moved further away for school. I adjusted child support. We talked or texted almost every day. She spent most summers with me. Pretending I wasn't an active dad is just wrong. And about the plants, yes, Maddie had been growing them for over 5 years, and some were expensive. A few outside ones survived. But most of the pictures and leaves are gone. Easily hundreds of dollars of damage. She doesn't want me to replace them because she wants money to go toward the baby. But I've thought about just using the money I was going to give Vera anyway. As for Vera, she's been trying to reach out to my friends since leaving, but I don't think that's going to go how she wants. Honestly, I'm just glad I didn't marry her. I'd rather find out who someone really is before getting in deeper. I'll stay single for a while, but I'm not worried about dating in the long run. Dodged a bullet here. Well, OP, it is sad when a relationship ends, but these are irreconcilable differences. And you've chosen to step up for your daughter, which is the right thing to do. Hopefully Vera can move on, but being bitter about it is not going to help her out. Calling your friends or sending Maddie nasty messages, not a good thing. Anyways, OP, you guys have a plan, and a very good one at that, I think. So here's wishing you all the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user TVCity6455. Want me to cook for my own appreciation event? Gotta make sure I don't violate the overtime policy. Years ago, I worked in a satellite office of a large department, 300 plus people, in a giant corporation. Half of the staff had salary benefits, while my half was hourly contractors. The department was run by two vindictive women who were wholly responsible for the toxic environment. They loved talking about how much they were like sisters. I loved pointing out that when you have sisters like them, one of them ends up under Dorothy's house. Like most companies, they were constantly blowing smoke up everyone's ass about how much we're valued, and they showed that by inviting us to an appreciation potluck. They were going to be surprises and delicious treats from our co-workers. Of course, the other shoe inevitably dropped. The company was providing only soft drinks, as alcohol on company property is forbidden, except when it isn't. The only food at this appreciation potluck was what employees were expected to make. Nothing store-bought, share some love with us. They just couldn't put it in writing, but it got around that failing to cook something would be noted. It's tough when the company won't give you a budget, but it's tone-deaf and insulting to demand people give their own time to prop up the illusion the company cares when half your staff doesn't get health insurance. The participation non-mandate came straight from the top, and I wanted them thoroughly, inescapably embarrassed. 2 days before the potluck, while on a call with my boss, I dropped the live grenade in her lap. My boss said, "Oh, before we go, I wanted to ask why you declined my Outlook invite for tomorrow afternoon. What's up?" I replied, "Oh, I need to leave early tomorrow to cook for the potluck since I assume you can't authorize overtime for it." "Overtime? My recipe takes an hour or so to cook, and the actual potluck is another 2 after business hours, so I was going to leave 3 hours early to keep myself at 40 hours this week." My boss said, "Wait, you expect to get paid for cooking?" And I go, "Half this staff is hourly contractors. Does this for-profit company expect 150 contractors to donate 3 or more hours of their personal time for their own appreciation meal?" And my boss says, "Oh my god, nobody thought of how this looks?" She was asking herself more than me. And I said, "Or nobody expected to be called on it." And she says, "But who's getting called on it?" "Oh," she sighed. "You're at your desk where everyone can hear." "Correct. I have to go." I did feel bad about dragging her into it. She had enough on her plate, but I knew she'd just toss the grenade up the chain to people who get paid to know better. Our satellite office wasn't privy to many details, but I'm told my call sent people panicking and scurrying around at the mothership, consuming a day and a half of a lot of people's time. Mission accomplished. In the end, they moved the potluck to lunchtime, during paid time for contractors, and bought our office pizzas. Only our office. We were, however, instructed not to be eating the pizza when we Skyped in because everyone else would get upset. And yes, all the satellite offices were Skyping in like this was the Dunder Mifflin Infinity launch. Well, OP, nice job. You did exactly what needed to be done, because it's absolutely not fair that you get told to use your personal time and money for a company thing. And the evil twins definitely got the message. Hope you enjoyed the pizzas. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.